So
That
what's your
countdown
history with
feels.
dildos?
I mean, I wanted to say, wait, his countdown to being on air feels very weird after I finally got around to giving the 6 hour iCarly documentary on YouTube a try. It's just like
Yeah.
now all I can think of is Freddie Benson when you do that, and it feels really weird, especially after what we just talked about. But yeah, no.
I
Um,
thought you were gonna say after you learned how to count, and not now you know what it
I
means.
wasn't that young. No, but
How many times we gotta tell you get off the damn stage?
we have had
Oh
two.
no.
We love having you here, but there you go.
We did it.
We have had two staff members warn that guy. But anyway, so yeah, welcome to the Thought Bubble, Ashley.
Whoa.
Hello, I'm also here. I'm Ashley.
I'm Stevie. Welcome. We
I
talk
forget
about
we're
shit.
supposed to be a real show. We don't just get up
Right,
here
of
and start
course.
talking.
Yeah, we they 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 set this up for us, and we are damn well
New
going
type
to
Tenno has
blabble our
entered the
shit.
space.
I do want to say, by the way, tonight, inadvertently,
Tenno has joined
this
the
is going to be
space.
a wonderful test of how performant banter is, because I forgot to charge my headset after it completely running out of battery last night until 20 minutes before coming in here. Or 10 minutes actually before coming in here because I came in here early for the show. And so if
Hey, the
it
back.
grows in if it grows in battery by the end, that means that banter is very
Sorry,
performant and
sorry.
doesn't take up your battery as much as it charges.
He
Oh yeah,
won't be back.
it won't be.
Good.
Oh okay. That was so ominous, Shane. But thank you.
They're actually dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
God rest his
The
soul.
banter hit squad is very efficient.
Pinkertons.
Oh
We're the
yeah.
banter Pinkertons.
We'll get
but yeah,
him.
So do you have a
do you
topic
have
for
a
this
topic for
That's
episode?
a
tonight? I have
warning,
Oh,
three
Tommy.
hey, look,
That's
it's
a
the
technically.
same
warning.
question.
Don't mess with us.
I have
Sorry.
no, because I'm excited about my topic, but I don't want to
Space.
trample over whatever you got.
Go for it.
Because so I part of my I don't know if I mentioned this a while ago, but like I want to make a habit out of like whenever I finish a book, I talk about it on here at least briefly. So I did with of course the 900th time I'm going to mention this book, Harpo Speaks. That's not what I'm talking about today, but that's what we did a while ago. There are three books that I started a while ago, but happened to finish in the span between like all three of them in the span between the last episode and this one.
Yeah,
So,
and that span was about 3 years, right?
yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
feels
and so yeah, I'll say all the titles at first, and we'll see how far we dive into any one of them. But it was I think in this particular order, it was Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. And it was Frindle, which I was one of the like the few ones that I actually enjoyed reading when I was a child. And stark contrast from that one to the next one. Uh, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And all of them are phenomenal titles, and I have a little piece to say about all of them. Do you want to briefly say anything about any one of them?
I have basically nothing to say. Percy Jackson, good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read it in a long time.
Yeah, there's like with Percy Jackson specifically, I was a little scared the whole way through reading it. And by the way, for those of you who liked Harry Potter as a kid, but it got on your fucking nerves later because of all the unethical shit around it, Percy Jackson is a fantastic replacement for that hole in your life. It's also just better at storytelling. But there was something I was scared to shit about like the entire time reading it because I'm like, there's apparently like a really profound plot line, a really like impactful twist that you're supposed to only find out about at the end of the saga, and people were frustrated with the movies from like 10 years ago for revealing it at the end of the first one, The Lightning Thief. And I found out I was wrong about what I thought people were talking about. And I don't remember the thing that they actually were mad about them revealing, so I'm not going to watch that movie again until I finish the saga. I'm going to wave my hands like this to say I'm about to say a spoiler for the book, like a really big spoiler, and then I'm going to wave them again when I'm done talking about it. Um,
Iron Wolf has
what I
joined the
thought it
space.
was that Luke, this like guy who is this guy who is like a helping hand, other campmate at the at Camp Half Blood, that he was the guy who stole the lightning bolt, Zeus's lightning bolt, and he was like trying to get in the good books of a bunch of like, a bunch of doom and gloom kind of titans to get more power because he's so frustrated with the powers that be. And I thought that was what people were saying was revealed at the end of the 5-book saga. But then I read that it was right there in the first book, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it must be something else. And this is actually a twist that I'm like seeing the way I'm supposed to. And the other one actually can be left for me. And that was fun. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, because I
Okay.
don't remember shit about Percy Jackson. It's been
Um,
so long. I watched the first episode of the new show. I don't even remember what it's on. Is it Disney?
Disney, yeah.
I think it's Disney.
It has
It was
pointless
good.
space.
The Minotaur had underwear.
I forgot about
I
that.
did not watch the second episode yet. I have it. It's on my hard drive right now, but
The only thing I don't like about the Disney Plus series is that the kid actors are very kid actors. Like even though the kid who plays Percy Jackson was also in the Adam Project and did an incredible job in that, but he felt very flat in Percy Jackson to me, and that was frustrating to me. But yeah, I do like the special effects though and the pacing of the plot in the series.
yeah.
Um, the second one, I will say, the notable thing about Frindle is I remembered it being much longer than it is as a kid. That feels like a 15-minute book. Uh, like
What is this? I've never heard of
oh,
this.
you don't know Frindle? Oh, it's a
No.
book from. I didn't know it was from the 80s until the end of the book because it is kind of ambiguous as to time period until then. But yeah, it's basically the story of how this kid who, keeps doing little gags and bits with like his buddies that like annoy teachers but are just like mostly fun, for the kids. He comes up with all these like fresh new ideas that get people, that get people going throughout the day, excites people. And one day he learns from his English teacher that like, oh, the way that words evolve, the way that language, as a whole evolves and words come into usage and official documentation. And so he commits to fucking with the system by just getting as many of his peers as possible to hardcore commit to calling a pen a frindle and never saying the word pen again or writing it, and just using the word frindle, and it just spiderwebs into this whole thing. And there's so many beautiful twists and turns in the book. It's a phenomenal read, so much shorter than you expect, but it is so wonderful. You know,
It sounds good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
when
it's
you say
careful
Frindle, my
gaslighting.
brain, I think it's a character from Hitchhiker's Guide whose name was like Room Fondle or something, and I was just like, who the fuck is Frindle?
I will say, if you boiled down the story of Frindle into a couple of sentences or like a little paragraph, it does feel like something that would slot right into Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah,
Like just the whole thing. Managed to get his entire planet to say an entirely different word, Frindle, instead of pen. But yeah. Um, and lastly, I'm glad my mom died. Extremely hardcore book that handles an enormous amount of incredibly sensitive topics, and for the most part of it, just gets darker and darker and darker and more just emotionally visceral, but has a very bittersweet ending that empowers Jeanette McCurdy by the end and like helps her take ownership, and pride in her own like progress in life, despite like the traumas that she'll always be plagued with, but she'll always have perspective based on it and be able to. I thought that was Shane slowly approaching. I didn't realize he was being pushed by somebody. But yeah.
the whip
Did you know
around.
that was happening, Shane? But yeah, so we can say this. I don't think Jeanette McCurdy can. So I think like to avoid like defamation or whatever like possible trouble that she would come into, because of like how many dark stories she tells about powerful people. Uh, the creator is someone who is often mentioned in the book. It is the guy who is responsible for creating and maintaining a lot of the Nickelodeon shows that made her life a living hell. One of them being iCarly, and so yeah, dark stuff, but it's
Yeah,
got
Carly's a
a
bitch.
it's got
Catfish me now,
which is
Hunter, you fucker.
it's kind of funny though because Miranda Cosgrove, the woman who actually played Carly, she I think had the best relationship with Jeanette McCurdy out of anybody there, and she was like the friendship that lasted for her across the whole thing. But yeah, there's a lot of relatability if you have like substance use issues or different points of parental trauma or especially if you've been pushed into a particular activity because your parent like missed out on it as a kid and wanted you to go through it instead, and like there it's again it's just got an enormous bittersweet theme going on. But, anyway,
Yeah.
that's it for me on it. I was just really excited to touch upon those.
That portal
Serious
closing
Apple
sound
will
scared
join
the
the
shit out of me.
A fart noise.
I didn't know that's what it did. So when I heard it, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Someone is emptying their entire bowels in the audience. That's what that sounds like.
Well,
How
while
many
you
portals?
Oh my god, you guys are gonna get
oh,
like banned.
oh no, I think Steve is dead.
Am I dead?
No?
Wait, am I dead?
Okay.
Okay.
I just heard you
Sorry, I
say
was
how
just
many portals and they were looking into dead space.
no, I was just like I don't know how long that portal's gonna last right there. But yeah. Anyway.
But while you were doing 3 books, and this time I have 3 games
Steve
that
has
I've been
joined the
Mm-hmm.
playing.
space.
The biggest one has been Helldivers 2, which I've gotten deeply in love with, which I didn't even know the Helldivers franchise before this game came out. I saw a trailer for it, and I saw a couple things on TikTok about it. And I was like, that game looks like stupid fun. And now I am absolutely propagandized and fallen in love with this game. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a satire of just like ridiculously patriotic wartime nationalism, um, where you play as one of many hell divers who go in, wreck shit, and get the fuck out. Usually, so far, the game's been a little harder than people expected it to be. Um, the game is laid out to where there's a bunch of different planets where there's different kinds of enemies on different planets. We have 2 fronts right now.
Santi has
Um,
joined the space.
and on the western front are the automatons, which are the ones that are fucking us up right now. It's robot Vietnam over there. And then there's on the eastern front the terminids, which is just baby shit where you go when you first start the game so you can actually learn how to play before going in to do your actual
The
service.
Tyranids?
The terminids, they're bugs. Um, and it is a wonderful game. You get on with a
I
couple
don't
of your
like Tyranids.
pals and just wreck shit, fight for democracy, liberty, spreading managed democracy across the galaxy.
Managed
Um,
democracy.
Managed democracy.
An unsettling term in itself. It's like I've been telling yeah the that game most parts of it I deeply respect it as a game, but most parts of it unsettle me in some way, and I think it's supposed to. But it's like the one thing that is like fitting with the theme of it that I just straight up enjoy, that is because it's just fucking hilarious, is that your body sticks around for a while when you die, like a while. And so it's like you
Yeah.
just get to approach your body as if you're a whole different person because it's like because military-esque stuff is famous for like people dying in stupid ways, and the propaganda machine's still churning. It's just like, okay, the next guy, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's literally the canon.
yeah. That's
So,
oh
yeah,
god,
you were a drop in the bucket to the government of Super Earth. And there's just a lot of fun very obvious just propaganda-y stuff that comes in through the game. There's little tutorial videos of explaining game mechanics that you aren't forced to watch. In fact, you can't choose to watch them. They just appear sometimes on your ship, and that's how you learn. The
at random
basic
times.
training, yeah, the basic training
Oh,
teaches you basically fucking nothing. It's great. Um, but yeah, they'll just come up and it'll be it's Sergeant Brash or something, and it's his Brash Tactics line of videos where he teaches you about something about like, oh, in this game when you reload, you don't keep the bullets in your magazine that you're getting rid of, they're just gone, which is not especially common in many 2D games. That is very common in VR though.
Wait, sorry. Can you repeat that last
So
part? I don't know if I.
when you reload, you take the magazine out of the gun. You're not saving whatever bullets were in that magazine that you hadn't used yet. They're just gone. They do not teach you
right,
that that is a
'cause
mechanic in the game. You learn that shit the hard way.
does it just
Or
like do most games just top off the ammo that you already have in the clip? Is that it?
yeah, it just
Oh,
like
okay.
keeps count of how many bullets you have, not how many bullets are in a magazine. And if you get rid of the magazine, it's gone. Most just let you keep the bullets.
Yeah.
Not this game. They don't teach you
Your
that. It
voice
is very
has been
funny.
displaced.
When you learn it. Also, so many things can interrupt you reloading. And so, like, you'll start reloading, something will happen, and it'll be like another 30 seconds before you remember to hit reload again, and you're just fucked. And that's another mechanic they don't teach you. You're learning shit hard,
New-type Tenno
and
has
it is really
entered
funny to me.
space.
You're just a walking, talking like '90s super villain who has that moment at the end where it's like, "Oh, I went out of bullets. Shit." You know,
That's
and then
happened to me so many times where I'm just like, fucking die! Click, click, click. It's like, oh shit, now I'm dying.
Why is the only version of that I specifically remember the Richie Rich one, which is a movie I also haven't actually seen, only a review of where that clip played in it because they complained about that happening. It's the only instance I can specifically point to.
Yeah, the Helldivers 2, amazing fun. Highly recommend it once the server situation gets a little better because the first Helldivers had a peak player count of a little over, I want to say 1,000 at any given time. It was a small game. We are now constantly over 500,000 people playing at any time. And they are having difficulties, to say the least. But yeah,
That's
I
probably
absolutely love it. I love the vibe it
Space.
gives. I love the bits of lore that you can hear from people on your ship. There's one lady who says that she turned over some people she was working with because they said some ambiguously dissident ideas against Super Earth. And she's like, yeah, I'm getting my social score up. So hopefully, if I can have a kid in the future, they can get a small pet like a hamster.
Um, I'm sorry. There's a slight tangent that I have because there are Shane is literally getting a foot massage from behind, and it's a pun that it has not been able to escape my mind. It's okay.
They're
I'm sorry.
shushing us.
I'm going to see, and I'm going to comment on it. I'm sorry. You're at this show. I, I don't know what you're doing, but yeah. Wait. So that very last part escaped me because I just noticed that.
So yeah, the bits of lore about how the
Right.
government of Super Earth works are fun. Like somebody turning in other people that they work with for having not the most patriotic of thoughts or ideas,
Right.
um, and just so that they can get their citizenship score up enough to where if they were able to have a kid, that kid could be allowed to have a small pet like a hamster. And it's just shit like that. They're like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to think Super Earth is great, but also, man, it's fun being blindly patriotic and having no
Jackie has
repercussions from
entered
that,
space.
where we can't do that in real life.
Not yet, anyway.
Yes, to your
I say that as if I'm
Warhammer
looking
moment.
forward to it. Oh, is that what you were trying to do? You were trying to land Shane in the portal. Is that it? Please don't do that.
They succeeded, unfortunately.
Yeah, they don't need to do it
Unfortunately.
anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Shane's gonna seal up the AFK jail. But yeah. Um God, Super Earth strikes me as the kind of place where where hamsters would be treated similarly to like t-shirts in a t-shirt cannon.
Okay.
Like it seems like that
This is
would be
not what
like
I
just like,
expected.
hey, you earned yours? Bam! Just blah. If it survives by the time it gets to you. There
Yeah,
we go.
from bits I've been hearing about the lore is like there's to be able to have a child, you have to fill out a form to be allowed to have a child, and apparently that form is really confusing to fill out.
I desperately want to
God.
know what individual questions on that form are like. Is it like a quiz or like a citizenship test kind of thing, or
I don't know, but it has been stated that there is a form you have to fill out, and it is difficult.
Iron Wolf has joined the space.
yeah? Wait, so like, what happens if you have an illegal kid?
You know, they haven't answered that question, but I think I can assume what happens. I think we're down 3 people. That's what
Ugh.
happens.
I'm guessing
That's what a lot of those
confiscated
sky
and
beam lasers are.
repurposed.
Oh yes, Lunar, were you one of the illegal children? What happened to you? That sounded like an insult. I didn't mean it that way.
Like I said,
Child.
confiscated and repurposed.
Ashley, would you like to be confiscated?
No.
Good to know. I
I'd
would
like to be
also
a
not
good
like.
citizen.
I, I I feel very weird about this, especially in the current political climate. This feels like if this game came out like 10 years ago, it would still be unnerving, but it wouldn't feel almost like it's poorly timed because it's like we're now constantly every single week in the middle of a when is the state's going to collapse, like and
Yeah.
so
Well, hopefully it'll be
so
replaced with Super Earth.
Anti-Lego has
I
joined the space.
God. Earth's
But
favorite
yeah,
pastime is now
it
salted pretzels and football.
it's been very fun being
Yeah.
part of the Helldivers community because it has gotten so passionate of people trying to win the war in the game with the automatons that everybody is campaigning for the game to be brought to Xbox despite being a PlayStation console exclusive. Like the
Oh my
console wars
God.
are ending because of Helldivers. There's like, I don't give a shit
They-
who you are. If you can fight, you get the game.
We have found a common enemy. It is the it's the
It is the
automatons.
automatons.
Sorry, what did you
God,
call the aliens again? What did you say they were?
automatons, I think.
Yeah, the
No, the other
automatons
ones.
are robots.
I keep almost
the
saying
Terminids.
automatones, which is a
Terminids.
very different thing.
Yes.
They you describe them as like bugs. It sounds exactly like the Tyranids from Warhammer. All of this sounds very Warhammery, and
It
I
is
want
very Warhammery. It's very Starship Troopers and Warhammery.
Instead of the democracy, it's for the God Emperor and all that.
Yep.
Say that a lot in
For
front of my friends.
liberty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
War,
yep.
Warhammer is one of those things that I really wanted to like try and touch upon getting into, but there's just too much of it, and I'm like,
But yeah.
there's only a certain
I-
amount of
Has
like
joined the space.
hyper militarized. There's only a certain amount of hyper militarized fiction that I can swallow at one point. Like I could take one Michael Bay movie every 2 years.
I mean, with Warhammer though, you can just jump in at any point and figure it out as you go. That's what I did. My friends was just like,
Oh,
"Here's all
okay.
this." I'm just like, "Huh."
So it's like
And now
hop
I'm a
and drop.
loyalist.
Okay.
Vansky
You're not
has
supposed to
joined
like
Yeah.
binge
the
it
space.
necessarily.
There's so much of everything everywhere that like you really can't take it all in, so you just gotta drop in somewhere. Go, I like these guys because they look cool, and then you learn about them specifically, and then
Oh,
maybe you
thank
branch out
God.
afterwards.
So yeah, you
That's
don't gotta
how
like
everyone in
pick
this
up on
community
every
is.
lore. Okay, I
No.
It's
see.
like how normal people watch
You
Star
will get
Trek.
sucked in though. You
Normal
will
people not
absolutely get
being
sucked
me.
in though.
Yeah, I'm cool with getting sucked into Star Trek though. It's like I'll never be as much of a Trekkie as you are, but I'm cool with like having a little like poker hand full of like, little Star Trek series slash movies that I'm like, these are the ones that I cling to, like or cling on, sorry, like little pieces of TOS, most of TNG. I don't feel bad about that. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Voyager.
No, I didn't expect you
uh,
to.
Oh,
I didn't expect you to feel bad.
at first I thought you were like I didn't expect you to pull out the pun, and I'm like, Ashley, what do you think I am? But
How dare you not like
but
Voyager? Voyager was clearly the best.
the one that well, I mean, I have a Patrick Stewart
Deep Space
bias.
Nine exists, fucker.
I
Yeah, no, I
the
watched it.
Deep Space Nine is the only one that I'm inching to have in my itching to have in my poker hand of it, like that I haven't already put in there because I've dipped a hefty toe in this, and that was ooh, yeah, I've dipped a hefty toe into Strange New Worlds, and that's the one that I was so fresh to. But yeah, Deep Space Nine is my next stop because I've been delaying
Good.
it for over a fucking year and a half.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
getting the best sci-fi ever made.
And it's going to give me several headaches. Why this many portals this specific time? Is it because we're talking about fandoms? I wonder. Yeah. When
We
are we
stopped
not
talking about
fandoms?
democracy.
We stopped talking about democracy. That was the problem.
Stop talking about the Imperium.
But
Yeah.
so other than Helldivers, I only just started playing yesterday because it only just came out yesterday, but Balatro, which is a roguelike poker game. I can't explain it very well. Please look it up if you like roguelikes, if you even like just poker. It is very fun. But I can't say much about it. It's a simple game, but at the same time it's a little bit abstract of what it is. But another game that I've been playing that just came out today was Penny's Big Breakout, which is made by the Sonic Mania team, and it just came out today.
That's what you were playing earlier. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
forgot
was
the
playing
name.
earlier. It's a 3D platformer where you play as Penny, who has a live yo-yo that is the basis of her move set. She can send it out as an attack, send it out and have it hover there to use it as like a little grapple hook type deal. Can ride on it to get more speed. It is an amazing little game. Awesome aesthetic to it. It's like if you took the more surreal parts of the old Sonic games where they had those like 3D model images with those bright, vibrant colors, but put it into 3D, give it like a Sega Saturn almost era vibe to it. It is wonderful, and I highly recommend it.
Yo-yos are one of the most underrated cool things because I feel like people have overrated how lame those are. But I love a good yo-yo. And I barely noticed it was a yo-yo for a while. You heard that I like thought it was just
Curious
wheels
Steve has joined the space.
It is
until I
very big.
yeah. Also, I wait. Hold on. I
There's
so,
mystery and serious,
yeah,
Steve. Now
yeah.
they're multiplying. We didn't need this happening.
I didn't know if I wanted to point that out or not. Then we're going to have then we're gonna have luxurious Steve entering next. Then we're gonna then we're gonna have we're gonna and then we're gonna have furious Steve. That one's gonna sound very deep voiced and gravelly, which could be any
That's what
number of references. But yeah,
That's what I've been spending my last couple of weeks on, mainly Helldivers, as the other games like just came out.
like Helldivers is a
Fucking
game
good
that I
shit.
like. Helldivers is a game that I like watching people play for about like 5 minutes, but I really enjoyed those 5 minutes. It's just like again, it's an unnerving game to me. But the Penny's Playground, you said?
Penny's Big Breakout or Breakaway.
Penny's
What are
Big
those?
Breakout.
I can literally alt
Yeah,
tab and look at it.
yeah, that's a game
Breakaway.
that I think I could watch for a good while, just because it's got so much energy to it, and it's got just a beautiful design scheme to it. I love the color palette, love the shapes and mechanics, just the flow of the animation, everything. Yeah. Also, anytime someone says the name Penny, I can't not think of Hairspray. Watch Hairspray 2007, please. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other
Yeah.
topics?
I think I stretched mine out, though I will say I've been meaning to get around to the what was the one about the dark or shadows that's on Netflix? It's that latest DreamWorks movie. One of you might know it if you're into animation. It's funny someone opened a Broadway Club portal, but but anyway, but yeah, so yeah, there's a recent DreamWorks movie that came out like a month or two ago, that's about shadows, and it's I assume it's about a little boy being afraid of the dark, but yeah, I want to catch that. Haven't yet. And God, yeah, I just haven't been watching as many movies lately, and I want to change that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny as I've been accumulating more actual media that I own physically. Um, it has been strange that I'm still not fucking watching it as much as I want to be.
The
I
more that
recently acquired a ton of Would I Lie to You, a British game show that I desperately want to be on. I love lying game shows. Game shows where you just
Yeah.
have to make bullshit up and not in just
Her
an
name isn't
improv
even Ashley.
necessarily way. No. It's Mrs. Anyway.
Stevie has joined the space.
I've been watching a lot of that, especially on my breaks at work, but I need to watch more of my back catalog before getting even more shit.
Yeah, I've noticed that like especially in the age of the internet, like there's more and more ways to hoard whatever kind of entertainment you enjoy. And so I've gotten to the point where there's just so many movies on my list that I haven't seen yet and so many movies that keep coming out and series that it's like I any single one of these that I pick, I'm always going to have 1,000 more that I am like, oh yeah, I also want to get around to that, and I feel anxious about it because I don't want to, you know, like because every single thing, it's like you want to make it worth it that you put the time into this one because there's only so many you can fit into your one human life, and that's a difficulty I've been having, and like I'm lucky that it hasn't spilled into the book habit. But like I think like the books are the main reason that I've been steering away from movies. Not because like I'm getting less interested in movies, but because I'm like, oh, because I'm not as used to fitting books into the whole dynamic. I've been prioritizing them. Oh, there's stories that like movies aren't going to tell me or show me that these books will. So I guess I'm just like not out of that phase where that kind of takes over for most of it.
Can we talk about how
Yeah.
we're also again not getting the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie?
God, I managed to forget about that, and it so fucking pisses me. Like they could have. Okay, I know they're not releasing it, which is bad enough. I could tolerate that, but they said they're fucking deleting it, which just I know there's probably some legal shit behind that. That's just petty, and I'm actually like, this is not a bit. I'm actually angry about that.
It is actual bullshit that we have. It is possible that you can spend all of the time and money making a feature film that blends 2D and live action, 2D animation and live
Willis has
action,
joined the space.
and then just be like, oh, but it's more profitable to not put it somewhere.
Which I
Like, that's
frankly,
fucking insane.
I don't. Frankly, I also just don't buy it that it's more profitable because of just the amount of like everybody who had heard of this movie as a thing that they were that was even in early production, anybody who was given an inchling of it was like, yeah, I love the idea of this movie. Even people who don't give a fuck about animation were like, this sounds kind of cute and fun, and I'm gonna give it a look, especially because John Cena was gonna be in it and everything, and you know he's fun and likable and everything. It's just fun with the family, but it's like if you love the characters, it's like it could have been the. We're gonna come back to this, but it's like it could have been the same little heart-struck note of Looney Tunes back in action. We're just not gonna get it now, and I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. That's what I'm gonna do.
I hope. Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say on stream. Never mind.
Am I gonna hear it later, or are you gonna give it to yourself?
Yeah, you can hear it later.
Okay, we'll superimpose it on the upload
For
at the
anyone
end,
that
but-
might wonder what I was gonna say, I'll just do a topic that's slightly related to what I was going to say.
Okay.
Apparently, Nickelodeon got a lot of their shit hacked recently, and we have some of the recordings from the SpongeBob episode where they just fucking cursed.
No, you're kidding me. You're kidding me.
We have at least one that I am 99% sure is real. It's not, they don't say a hard curse, but
Ain't
it
got a
is
fucking
really
man.
funny. No, it does not. I would say it's not even a curse. It's just you would not expect to hear SpongeBob say it.
I would suffice for a damn or an ass. I will.
No, he
I'll,
says blow
yeah.
me.
Oh my fucking god, that is worse. Holy shit. Is it crabs? It's got to be crabs or Squidward.
It's SpongeBob.
It's SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's when he loses and heals an escalator. He's just like, blow me.
You are going to. This is a mandatory prerequisite for the next episode. You are sending this to me. Oh my
I'll find it
god.
right now.
Do you still have that Mrs. Ashley Discord server? You should probably put it in there
Yes.
too. Yeah, if you here's some little extra credit for you if you want to join that and chit chat with us between shows. I need to watch every moment of this now. I have been wanting that to come out forever and not thought it would. Now that Super Bowl Nickelodeon itch that never got to be scratched is going to be scratched. That was the only way I was ever going to watch the Super Bowl, and I got frustrated that I can't watch it in Canada without a streaming, without a streaming service I don't have, Paramount Plus.
It's on archive.org. Let's fucking go.
Archive.org. Oh, I'm screaming in everyone's ear, but I'm so excited. This actually might cover
So
for that
there's two
Wile E. Coyote size
that
hole in my
came
heart.
out. The one that I said before, the Blow Me one, is the one I think is real for sure. There's one where he
Okay.
says "fuck face," but I'm not as
No.
convinced. I'm not
Yeah,
as convinced that one's real.
In the age of AI, yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like, I think like there's a certain, I do think I'm gonna eat my words later. I know, but like I do feel like when there's an AI deep fake of a particular, even a voice actor where there's like a ton of archival footage of their voice, they usually pick a specific tone to emulate and don't usually veer very far off of that unless it's specifically engineered to do so, like in a song. Like when there's the AI
Yeah.
deep fakes of like, like for instance when fucking the famous like Jay Schlatt My Way by Frank Sinatra. Yeah. So I'm skeptical about all of them, but if you say that it sounds real with the Blow Me one, then I'll take it.
It absolutely sounds real. Somebody
Can you
has
not?
put the voice clip over the actual video from the episode, and it's just really funny. I love
I
it. I love that we're finally
I
getting it.
I don't know why my original impression of this when you said it at first was they wrote a whole episode just for this. No, it makes a lot more sense. It's just other takes for that same for an episode that did release. It was just not that naughty.
But yeah, fucking I love the internet. I love that things leak.
We
I
got a SpongeBob
love
with Coach Wood
getting
in it.
shit like this. Also, this is I just saw it trending on Twitter. Um, Epic Mickey's getting a remake, which is fucking awesome.
Oh shit, really? I never knew
Yeah,
much
they
about
just
Epic
announced
Mickey. I
that
just
with
kept seeing ads for it as a
the
kid.
Nintendo Direct that happened today.
There was a
They also
Nintendo Direct
announced
today?
Battlefront 1 and 2 are getting a re-release, which I already told you that. But for anyone else that
Right.
likes Star Wars Battlefront, the original 2, getting a re-release, new servers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's actually awesome.
It's so good. Especially, I
You
think
say that as if
GameSpy
like
went
you didn't
down,
give a
which
fuck about
was
the rest of anything we said this episode.
That's not true. I participated in the Helldivers chat.
If you poke your head in at one, it just it
I'm
diminishes
listening. I
everything else.
But yeah, I think recently
don't have much to say
GameSpy
in the
stopped
video.
working, which was how people played those original games online still. So it's nice that we do have servers again, even if it isn't, people aren't going to have their mods or anything. Which the modding community for that game was insane. Absolutely love that game.
Also, I do want to get your name just to say I was picking on you, but we do love you. It's a rainbow, so it's hard to read. New type Tenno. We do love you. I was just making fun of you a little bit. Yeah. Wow, ironically, the rainbow names are harder to read. I only just noticed that now. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's just a thing with my eyes or if because it just feels like it's different size pixels, 1 pixel for each color. But yeah. So like, what kind of mods were there for Battlefront?
I mean, just adding stuff from like the later films that came out later or series that came out after the games. In the original, you could only play the hero battles on like 1 or 2 of the stages, and so people would add them to everything, which is this thing that's happening in the re-release. They are adding it to more stages. and this re-release is coming with all of the additional content that only some of the versions got from back in the day. So that's also really cool for them. But yeah, Battlefront 2 was one of my favorite games back in the day. So absolutely can't wait to play it again.
I remember
Is
when I
this re-release
first
gonna
got my
be
hands
on?
on. Was it? Wait, I'm gonna
Mhm.
megaphone you
gonna-
real quick. You seemed like you had. Hold on. And there we go. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna ask if this re-release was gonna be on all platforms, because there's
Yes.
ports for next-gen consoles and stuff as well. Cool.
The
Awesome.
it's
Great.
a re-release and it's a collection of 1 and 2 together.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Oh, it's 1 and 2, so it's like Left 4 Dead style. Fantastic. Yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, there was a when wait, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You just seemed like you might have been frozen. But yeah, when I first got my hands on the classic Battlefront 2 years ago, I don't remember how I first found out about mods, but it felt so surreal to me to see in like the early 2000s esque, like, low poly count like character models, stuff from like stuff that came out post 2010 in the movies, like some Force Awakens and Last Jedi stuff. That
Yeah.
was kind of surreal to see it like that. I frankly, because it does delve into like into the demake gimmick. I kind of want to see more of that and stuff. Like I've talked about for a while, how much I'd love to see kind of like how there's the AI upscales that you can do for for resolutions in games, and like, just basically bumping up the graphics in whatever games you're playing. And like I would like AI downscales for lower quality hardware, but also just like, hey, if you want to make fucking Tomb Raider, God of War, or whatever, like the newer one, make it look like it came out in 2002. I think that'd be really fucking cool.
Talking about Tomb Raider
Actual
tangent,
underscore Lee has
apparently
joined the
Sure.
remasters of the first 3 games came out recently and they're fucking amazing. So if you ever want
How
to get
many
into Tomb
remasters
Raider,
have there been?
I have no idea. At least
Because I feel
one.
like because I feel like I've seen a lot of those happen. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that like
I
I
know
feel
they've
like it's
been
happened a weird amount with Tomb
re-released
Raider.
a lot.
Yeah.
But this is like a full remake.
Ah.
So if you ever want to get into it, but for some reason couldn't get into the graphics, they are updated. Give it a try.
Speaking of games that were remastered or remade, um, I it was very weird. There's this YouTuber that I follow that likes to recreate songs from video games, but with like he likes to do he plays the actual instruments that were involved in in recording the like version of it that's like low quality on the like in the retro game that you play, but he plays it like in front of a nice microphone and played through the basically made like a song is played today, and he does all the tracks for it to like an almost like, well, to a full band, almost orchestra extent. And I'm gonna fetch his name because I don't want to mention him without crediting him because it sounded beautiful. He did the GTA San Andreas theme with his instruments. Hold on. Um, and oh, I should have had this ready earlier. But yeah, listening to it, which by the way, it just sounds fantastic to listen to it. But it got me down for some reason a whole like rabbit hole of the GTA universes, which I never really cared about that much over the course of time. I just thought like GTA was a fun concept. I didn't know there were 3 fucking universes in that game. And I also didn't know that there was this like a little more niche game that happened to take place in the same universe as San Andreas. Um,
Are they not all the
and some of
same
the other.
world?
So okay, apparently, according to the wiki, there is the 2D universe, which is the universe of everything until Grand Theft Auto, the game before Grand Theft Auto 2. There might have been a one between 2 and 3. So everything before Grand Theft Auto 3 is the 2D universe. Um, though one of them is technically 3D, but it plays like a 2D top down. Um, oh, okay, I found the name of the guy. But I'll quickly say there is the 3D universe, which is Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas and Vice City. And I think it's like the tangential ones from there. And then the HD universe, oddly enough, even though like okay, the HD universe starts from GTA 4, I think, leading up till now. Even though that's the only game in the HD universe. The only well, I mean, they didn't come up with one past besides GTA Online, unless if you consider that a separate game. They haven't come up with one besides Grand Theft Auto 5 in the HD universe. But there's like a massive jump in quality between the first one in the HD universe and the second one, and then now the third one. And then I don't know if they're gonna have another universe after that, but it's so that like they can have stuff between universes if they want. Like Liberty City takes place in all of them, but they don't have to like adhere to things too carefully. But like within these little clumps, things are confirmed in the same universe. And then a less popular, if you could believe it, even more controversial mini game series, it was just 2 games, called Manhunt, takes place in specifically the 3D universe, Vice City and San Andreas. And Manhunt is, if you're uncomfortable with how brutal and like just like crime focused and kind of just like gangster shit happens in the Grand Theft Auto games, it is cranked up to the most unsettling, like psychopathic level in Manhunt. Not without purpose, but it's just like, hey, if you want to really get you, if you want to really test your limits in terms of subject matter for for violence and for crime, in storytelling, than the 2 Manhunt games. And for trivia that take place in the same universe, the YouTube channel that did the San Andreas HD theme song remake is, and of course I scrolled right past it. There we go. Instrument Maniac is the YouTube channel. That is Instrument Maniac, one word, exactly as it sounds is how it is spelled. Um, yeah, and it got stuck in my head real fucking quick. It is so good.
Apparently, the HD universe is GTA 4, episodes from Liberty City, Chinatown Wars, 5 online, and 6. I guess they're assuming 6 is going to be in the same universe.
They probably would have
The
confirmed by
3D
now if it was a new
universe.
universe.
The 3D universe is 3 Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Advance, San Andreas, Liberty City Stories, and Vice City Stories. And the
There's
2D
a bunch of those I assumed
is,
were just DLC though.
well, some of them are DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, isn't like Liberty City Stories and Vice City is DLC for San Andreas or 3, one of them?
Yeah, and like of course, like Ballad of Gay Tony and stuff like that. I thought Chinatown Wars was DLC.
Chinatown Wars is the DS game, isn't it?
Is it? I
think
believe you.
so.
I wouldn't know. But yeah.
Let me see.
And the
Nintendo
London
DS,
ones.
PSP,
Yeah.
and Android and iOS.
I'm surprised about Android and iOS like as an official thing. But and the London ones were in the 2D universe.
Yeah. And 2D universe is just 1 and 2.
Yeah, they were some of the last ones in the 2D universe. Yeah. Yeah, I love this. I didn't realize how much I would love the setting of the one with the cyberpunk city. It was the one that was technically 3D but from a top-down perspective. Like I think it's called Everywhere City. And I've fallen in love with that aesthetic. I'm probably not gonna dive very far into it, but I'm just like, hey, it'd be great if they could like revisit that in a modern game, even though they probably won't, because that would take enormously more work than a modern day set GTA game.
Well, it seems like amount of work doesn't give much fear for Rockstar. They seem
Yeah,
to just do everything.
Well, because like they put such a level of detail into a worlds resembling what we already know and see in our world. Like with Red Dead 2, they did it with the Old West, which is of course not the current day, but it was something that actually happened. And with the HD universe in GTA, which I don't know, does it take place in the same universe? I don't know. With the GTA games, it's resembling, of course, contemporary settings for the most part, aside from the London ones, etc. But yeah, and so doing like futuristic stylistic stuff is a lot harder with the standard they have set in terms of graphical quality and game mechanics for the modern games. So if they just wanted to like start a fresh one and have it not feel like a step down from the sheer scale and the detail level of GTA 5 and 6, yeah, I would think that'd be like a notable step up as a feat in game development from where they are now.
Yeah. See, I'm at a point with GTA where I'm like, yeah, that's a game that's gonna come out. Whatever. I've played so much of the older games. And I played a shit ton of 5 and online specifically. And like, I recently went back and was like trying to look at like, oh, I haven't played 4 in fucking forever. I especially haven't touched San Andreas in a long time, and I miss San Andreas.
New type Tenno has
And
joined the
like,
space.
they're more fun than the new ones. Like, I'm actually kind of like disillusioned about new GTA because of playing the old ones again. I just think they're
GTA
better.
is GTA is the kind of franchise where it's not even just that I wouldn't play it very much, it's I wouldn't even really watch someone play the story through or much of the because I used to watch like a few. The most I've usually ever consumed of GTA is like people playing it as they talk over it, talking about something entirely different. Like I used to get into like a couple of little fun mini game challenges that people did on YouTube, but that's about it. Never the story even, which is how I would consume the stories for most games. But it's like but something about the lore of this and how I went down that rabbit hole thanks to this just song, and I'm just like, oh, I'm now reading into this through the wiki, and I'm like, this version of consuming what the lore is for some reason strikes an entirely different chord with me and makes it a lot more interesting, and I don't know why. Is there like books associated with it? Because I know like Minecraft has like lore books and stories associated with that, but obviously Minecraft and GTA are two completely different ball games.
Idea. I feel like maybe I consumed them in a way many people did of, oh, they're kind of independent from each other. Like, they
Mm-hmm.
happen in the same kind of universe and things are still like there. Um, but they're not meant to be like continuations or meant to be thought about in context of each other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not winning any trivia nights in terms of GTA lore, but from a very surface level perspective, similarly to Star Trek, but even less deep than that, it's like, oh, these little trinkets. It's like it's just enough that it sounds legitimately interesting from where I'm standing now, more interesting than GTA's ever sounded to me. And by
Fun
golly,
fact,
there might be
you
a time
needed
when I actually get into the classic ones. What were we saying?
GTA 1. I was just going to say, fun fact, you needed GTA 1 to play GTA London on the PS1. I
Right.
think it was on another
GTA,
console too.
the London ones were DLC, weren't they?
Yeah, it was just an extra disc that you had to swap over.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been downloadable then, but
Yeah.
No, no.
it's just more content.
Are
It
the
was a cool game.
are the first is the 2D universe like available to officially purchase, or would you have to get that off of some site that we
The
can't
original one,
endorse?
GTA 1, I think Rockstar give it away for free on their site. You can
Are
download it
you
for the
kidding?
PC for free.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah,
fun.
you can get it
Did
for
they
free.
give away
You
London?
need don't know about London, but it's very hard to run because it's got very
Uh,
specific hardware requirements that's like for old
oh,
stuff. So fun. So give it a shot if you've got an old PC or can emulate stuff. It's nice to play that again. It's been a
yeah.
while. I'm
Way
not
to
sure if it's there anymore, but yeah, last time I checked, it was free from Rockstar.
make your motherboard make a popping sound. Yeah, no, but
Oh
I
no,
it's definitely worth a shot. Thank you, Bob, by the way, for the
it's all
insight.
right. It's about chip in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, and yeah, but I have a feeling I'm just going to slowly inch towards becoming like a GTA lore fan, but without ever because like the only way I've ever played GTA myself is I've played GTA 4 in the character customization at a buddy's house way back when. And I'm one of those people where I have a copy of GTA 5, but the only way I've ever wanted to play it is go around not an online with a trainer, like a cheat trainer, like in just going around the world and going for a drive and like just fucking with the different mechanics and just going around like an observer of shit and trying out little like kooky things to do and just treating it as a sandbox game. Like that's the only way that I consume it besides this, but I feel like I'm gonna slowly inch towards becoming like a fanboy of the background lore for some reason.
I
Yeah,
will
it does
say
have some
GTA
weird stuff.
5 Online has some really uh, interesting story elements.
Mhm.
Depending on, it's just very grindy to get like all of the things that you would want or need to you know get to those story beats, but it's fun. And now that they've made it so you can be in a private lobby, you don't have to be in a public to use some of your businesses or all of your businesses that would progress your story along. It is a lot more enjoyable, so you don't have griefers constantly on you. Uh,
I'm surprised that took them that long because I, I
yeah,
I feel like I thought that was already a thing.
no, it
They
took
wanted
them
to
until
keep
they ported it
everybody
to
in the
next gen.
space. You can't have good things, you see, because you get trolls. That's the problem. Like you could have had a
Hmm.
nice map where everybody could have done their businesses, but then you get the
Wouldn't
one
there
with
be less
the jet
trolls in the
gun.
private one though? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
You can
none.
set
Yeah,
yourself. Can you not
it
set
would
yourself to
be
ghost mode when you're doing missions like that? I'm sure that's a
no,
thing, right? Still? No?
no.
Okay.
well, yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
but
Ghost
yeah, thank you both.
organization only lasts like 2 minutes, but you can't be like passive or anything. You have to be
Passive.
like all cards on the table. So private
I
lobbies definitely help with that.
like
It's been
I've
a while on that side.
done before, like in terms of in gaming where it's like you're doing like an RPG kind of role play sort of situation. I've done that with stuff like Minecraft and especially Gmod before. I have some dark RP stories where I was like not doing whatever like other people wanted to do with it because I'm like I don't need to like deal drugs, but you guys got a movie theater. You know, like, I see a YouTube theater over there. Can I manage that? No one gives a shit about it. I'll take it. You know, and that's like the closest I've gotten to an MMORPG that I like dove into experience, either Minecraft or Gmod. And so like I feel like that's similar to what people do with GTA. Just it's not an atmosphere that I would normally dive into.
Yeah, I'm over GTA. It's a gameplay
It's
loop
just a,
I'm
it's
tired
just
of.
super crime.
It's one of those things
Yeah.
that I'm like I'm getting into one in a weirdly specific way and no other way than that one way, but also just so enormously later than most people would ever give a shit to.
GTA is like Fast
Like,
and Furious,
yeah.
right? It's all nice and calm at the start. Two guys, there's a cop and some underground racing, and it's real simple. But by the number 10, it's like they go into space and there's
Yeah.
crazy stuff going on. And that's
It's
kind
like
of what
very
GTA is going
hungry
now. You've got
genetically
online.
modified
It's
caterpillar.
just yeah.
7 nuclear missiles. That is exactly what
I
GTA is like.
I started the Fast and the Furious saga at number 7 and worked back to 5, and I think that was the best way for me personally to consume it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Anyway,
sense.
yeah, that's all from me. Do we want to do you have anything more? Do we want to do an outro?
I think we can do an outro.
Okay. Yeah. So do you want to say your stuff first?
Go to mrsashley.com, MISSUS Ashley dot or sorry dot gay
I was just
dot
gonna
com.
say
I think
Ashley.
dot .com will also send you there, but I primarily use
.net
dot
as
.gay.
well. Yeah.
No, I did. Don't make me buy another fucking domain. I can't afford this. Um, but yeah, go there. You can find me. Find all my socials there. Hopefully, I'm going to start streaming again soon. So subscribe to the Twitch or follow the Twitch. Subscribe is giving me money. Also do that. I would like money. But other than that, where can people find you?
Yeah, I do improv shows, improv night with Stevie and Show. We got one this week, Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like most Fridays. But this time it'll be in Banter, and it'll be yeah, improv night with Stevie and Show, where we play improv games with audience members up on stage, and in VR chat every other week, twice for that week, we do Improvatars. That is Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is always in VR chat, though. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I got going on. You can find any links to any of that usually at improvvr.co.uk, especially in the Discord server. But yeah, you can get to there from improv, then an r.co.uk.
All right, that's it for us.
Another time.